I want 175 kids. Welcome to day 260 and telling me YouTube millionaire, guys. I've mentioned this a few times on this channel, basically from the start, since I started this series. I want as many children as I can possibly have. Now, there's many reasons behind this. The first one is, in the Western world, there's generally a population collapse. This means that everybody of all walks of life, if they're Westerners, could do well to have more children. The replacement rate for all adults living today is 2.1. It was a little higher back in the Middle Ages, a lot higher actually, and earlier because of the infant mortality rate. But since we've reduced the infant mortality rate to almost nothing, it's now 2.1 children per adult, or per couple, in order to replace previous generations and maintain a stable population. In the Western world, the birth rate is hovering around 1.5 or so, which means that in the course of a few generations, the population of the Western world will collapse. The Western world, of course, being the productive central pieces of said world. The mathematics that Elon Musk had done a while back for Singapore was basically, with their current birth rate, their population will be 4% of what it currently is in 3 generations. That's how bad it is, guys. So, I want 175 children. There's some basic math behind that. On average, a man, and I think this is actually pretty similar for women too, will 54% of the time have offspring. If you do the math and you do the statistics for that, let's say you have one child. You have succeeded in continuing your line, but will they succeed in continuing your line beyond them? It's 54% chance. And then you do that 54% chance amongst all of your children. This is assuming you don't manipulate the variables by encouraging them with the proper morality to have many kids as well. Then you increase dramatically your chances of continuing your line. The magic number is 7 children, or 7 descendants actually. Not even children, just descendants. So let's say you have 4 children in your first line, your first 4 children. And then of those children, they end up only having 3 children of their generation. Well, you now have 7 descendants, and therefore that magic number has been hit. You have a 99.9999% chance of your line lasting forever. So that's the magic number. 175 makes the chance of your line departing from existence vanishingly small. It's basically 0. But there's a multitude of reasons for wanting to do this. Not only is the Western world having a population collapse, and soon it'll be the entire world, in fact, which is not a good thing. So like I was saying, the Western world, population collapse. And it's going to follow suit for the entire world pretty soon, not just the Western world. So, human beings are the light of consciousness, at least on this planet. And we don't know at this point if there's other conscious life out in existence. Therefore, yet again, it may be infinitely, unfathomably, mind-bogglingly important for us to keep our species alive. It could be. Let's say we are the only ones out there. I know the probabilities of that appear vanishingly small, but there could be some type of great filter that causes that to happen. If it is the case, then there's a 94 billion light year across universe that has no intelligent life in it, and we need to propagate. We have options right now to decentralize our populations on different planets. We can go to Mars, and I'm sure we're going to have our first colonies established there within 5 years. And we can go to the moon, which, by the way, I'm surprised we haven't terraformed it yet. We could literally send starships up there with payloads of water and just launch them to the surface. Do enough of those over a long enough period of time, and you've produced a livable atmosphere on the moon, which will last probably 50 to 100 million years, because the moon doesn't have a magnetic field like the Earth does, which prevents sputtering of said atmosphere. So the Earth's atmosphere will last for basically ever because of that magnetosphere. But the moon's atmosphere will only last for like 50 to 100 million. Now, 50 to 100 million years is a lot for us, and we can continuously sustain it with artificial means, so it's not a problem. Once we get the atmosphere there, it's good. We are good to go. So human beings with a 54% chance of having offspring, 7 children ensures, barring any outside variables, that your line will continue forever, assuming that you don't have some population destruction by an ulterior force specifically towards you. Your line, you should be okay, which happened in the Bible many a time, actually. Lines that God did not like. Remember what happened during the Great Flood? He erased, right? The children of the Watchers is what they were called. The Elohim. Now, outside of those factors, you have 7 children, you'll keep going. The evils of this world, the dark forces behind the scenes, the demonic principalities that we duke it out with on a day-to-day basis, may in fact have it out for you, like they did for John F. Kennedy's family. And that's why so many of his family members were unalived, including himself. Thankfully, people like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. took up the mantle and had a metric crap ton of kids, and the rest of his family members as well. So it's unlikely that their line is ever going to go away, even with exterior forces trying to force that. So I know that there are certain principalities that hate me, and therefore I cannot simply rest on my laurels of having 7 children of my own. I have to have a lot more. Because your children are you. And children are like diamonds. The more of them you have, the more true wealth you have. They are actually you. Not just a genetic variant, but they have your soul within them. It is said that when you consummate with a female as a man, that you give them part of your soul in the seed that you provide. That is part of your soul that is attached to your children. Theirs as well. Your soul is who you are. So, if there are many enemies aligned against me, which I guarantee you there are, look at what's happened with me, and I want to ensure that my line doesn't die, I need to have lots and lots and lots of kids. And, you know, let's do what we can. Let's do what we can. I'll settle for 6, but I want 175. If God wills it, 10,000. Just look at, what's his face? Lazarus Long from the Howard Foundation in the book Time Enough for Love by Robert Heinlein. He had like 100,000 descendants, something like that, and lived for 2,300 years by the end of the book. So, and the reason so many people wanted to be with him was because he was so adored for his knowledge, his expertise, his experience, his wisdom, his wealth, which he had a lot of. Basically, he had a net worth that was the equivalent of 2 planets. He was very, very wealthy. And with compound interest and extended lifespans, becoming extremely wealthy is going to become extremely easy in the future if you have any foresight whatsoever. And I want to teach that to all of my 175 children. I'm already talking about that with my girlfriend. She's saying that, the children that we have are going to be real estate tycoons, and she is right. And I'm going to ensure that happens. So, it's a lot to look forward to. But there's a multitude of reasons for having many children, for us. It doesn't matter if you're just a bog standard white person, right? If you think that there's nothing special about you and that you should just let your line pass away, one, you shouldn't. And two, just by virtue of maintaining the population, you should be having kids. 2 children is a single standard deviation away from the norm. So the average person will have about 2 children, right? Every 2 children is another standard deviation away. So 4 children means that you're at the 85th percentile of the population. 6 means that you're at the 98th percentile, etc., etc., etc. Okay? Perhaps we could look at the number of children a person is going to have as connected to the various outlier statistics, outlier specifications that said individual has. If somebody, for instance, is a foot taller than the average person, and that being 2 standard deviations outside the norm, then they should have 2 standard deviations more children by virtue of that outlier alone. If they have an IQ that's 150, that's 3 standard deviations outside the norm, an extra 6 children as a result. If they have a conscientiousness that is 5 times more than the average person, do the math, an extra 10 children, etc., etc., etc. You could use any number of factors if you want to selectively have more children. If you selectively choose, like stuff like that. You can do that. But it's not necessary. Frankly, any and all of us, we need to have children. If you don't think that you're valuable, I'm just going to say it bluntly to you. The Social Security system is going to collapse if our population does not maintain or grow in the future. Same with the GDP. And the GDP is connected to the population. Productivity going up does not matter if the population is going down. Productivity going up per capita alongside a population increase compounds the total productivity of the world and the total GDP as a result. And therefore, things like unfunded liabilities or not, that's not the right term, entitlements such as Social Security and Medicare and stuff like that will sustain themselves. That is based upon an expected growth rate of the population. And life expectancy, increasing every generation, will be able to continue if the population continues to go up without causing economic collapse. You look at Japan. The average life expectancy there is no shit, 90 years old. It's the highest in the world, or near enough. But their medical systems and stuff like that are on the verge of collapse because they have no kids. So the 90-year-old population is becoming the same number of people as the 25-year-old population, which is just simply not sustainable. It's not. We need kids, and a lot of them. And you have to know, children are like diamonds. The more of them you have, the more wealthy you truly are. They are you. It's your line continuing forever if you allow it. You at least give yourself a chance of that happening if you have at least 1 child. You give yourself a chance. It's a 54% chance, but it's there. It goes up higher. Let's say you make it 75% if you encourage them with the proper morality that they should have children. You have more than 1, it goes up even more. So, yeah, 175 kids is what I want. And if God wills it, 10,000 or more. I love children. I want to take care of them. I want to teach them. I want to build them. Because building the soul is the most important thing to build. And the whole of civilization is constructed with the express purpose of protecting and serving children. Now, with what's happened with the Epstein stuff, clearly our civilization is completely a sham. But that doesn't mean that you on the individual level, your household governance and the governance you have from God can't sustain itself. You just can garner or give no trust whatsoever to the central government. You only give them the amount of rope that is required. That's it. No more. So, there you go, guys. Have kids. I want 175. Love y'all. Peace.